people. He's like, are you joking? I was like, no, I'm not joking. He was like, oh my God.
People love the idea of, oh, move to the country and live off the land and do all that sort of thing. But there's not many people that actually action it and go for it.
You know, there are going to be times where it is really tough. There are going to be times where farming sucks.
I guess you balance that honesty with humour, and I think that's what really shines through it.
You know what? If no one else is going to do it, then I am, because I'm sick of it.
With the inheritance tax over in the UK, it kind of makes us think over here, oh, you know, are we next?
Just having things happen to us without being involved in that conversation. And more people are going to understand, you know, how good this life is, how beautiful it is, and how much we care about our food, fibres and our animals.
Well, welcome back to the Farm Machines and In-Betweens podcast. I'm your host, Vince, and today's guest is Kaitie Nash. So Kaitie is a first-time farmer, or obviously a lot more experienced now, who's, swapped the city life for the country. And I guess, having a massive following. So you guys have probably seen her on the socials, especially Instagram, where she's, I guess, showcasing the ups and downs of living on the land and, obviously becoming a voice and advocate for farmers and tackling farming issues. So it's, Kaitie's, journey is quite raw and honest and refreshingly real. So like to welcome Kaitie onto the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Vince, for having me.
Yeah, no, that's great. And obviously speaking before, and there's a lot of things happening on the farm and juggling all of that. So I really appreciate you coming on. Just wanted to start, I guess, with your journey. So a lot of people love the idea of, oh, move to the country and live off the land and do all that sort of thing. But there's not many people that actually action it and go for it. So I guess if you wanted to start just with a bit of your journey and how it all came about.
Yeah, sure. So my husband and I, we were living in Darwin at the time, and we'd been up there for about 11 years. And anyways, we had a phone call from my father-in-law one day saying, you know, if we bought the neighbour's place, would you guys want to move down? And it was home for my husband. He grew up on the farm, and I think like that question being put to us of will we come to the farm, it was like, for me, I thought, oh my God, like I've been there for Christmas a few times. I've visited. It's absolutely beautiful, lush and green, and just what a great way for our kids to grow up. And our children at the time were 4 months and 3 years old, and so we had two boys, and one 4 months, one 3. And I remember saying to my husband, I was like, oh my God, like, this could be great, like change is as good as a holiday, and this is what we wanted for our kids. And like at the time it was in 2018, and so that was in the drought. And the reality, I think, of moving in that time hit pretty quickly, and I soon realized that drought is not a great time to move to a farm.
No, I guess probably the lighter side of that as well, you skipped COVID as well, because out on the land it's you've got that space, and you're not having to worry about those lockdowns in the city or anything like that. And even myself, I moved back home because I was in Sydney for a fair bit, and without even knowing, moved back home, and 6 months later it all hit. So we're both very lucky, I guess, to make those moves. So
absolutely. And I think that's one thing that I looked at probably for the first time when I looked at the farm and thought, wow, we are so lucky. This is so good. We have got space, and we have got freedom, and we have got, nothing to, it felt like there was, a little bit of worry in the air, but also we were so lucky to have what we had out here in that time.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And it's, as much as it was annoying, even just living in the country, you couldn't really go into town or, wearing masks and all the rest of it. But it was really great to reconnect with family, and because you were, sort of together and in that space. So it, yeah, as much as it was annoying, it definitely was a benefit if you were out on the farm. So,
100%.
yeah. So, and I guess, moving to the farm as well, you've had to come across some, I guess, steep learning curves as well. So, not really having much of that sort of farming background or day to day on the farm. What's probably the skill that you had to master that you found the most difficult? Because I guess a farmer's probably a jack of all trades, master of none. So it's yeah. What's probably was the most difficult thing when you first got out on the farm?
I think there's a few. But I think one of them would be having to understand that you can plan all you want. You can plan that you're going to go out for lunch, and at the drop of a hat, that will change. And whatever it is that you have planned, wedding, it could be lunch with friends, it could be, something to do with the kids' sport, anything, the farm comes first. And I think having to understand and learn that, that was really difficult because, all of a sudden it was like, what? Hang on, I'm second? Like, hang on, what do you mean? Like, no, that's what we had planned. Like, you go to that, you do what you set out to do. But it's just not like that. The farm does come first. It has to run. It has to, if your cows don't have water because the pump has stopped working when it's 45 degrees outside and they can't have water, it doesn't matter what you've got planned.
That's right.
And that was definitely probably a steep learning curve that it really challenged me. It challenged my relationship with my husband because we would have these plans and I'd be like, oh my God, are you joking? Like, no, you cannot go and fix that part. And he's like, Kaitie, you need to understand. And it's really hard. It was hard for him to try and, explain to me and for me to have that emotional attachment and connection to the farm. But that's not an instant thing. You don't move to a farm and all of a sudden it's, oh my God, it's the best. Like, I don't believe that happens. I believe that happens over time. And now, if something was to happen, I'm quick to say, oh no, sorry, we can't do that. It depends, even at harvest time, I'm like, oh, look, don't plan anything at harvest because you don't know what's going to happen.
And that's the thing, like, I think a lot of people probably from the city would think, oh, we'll buy a hobby farm and, and then you probably can afford to be like, yeah, we'll just leave that for a day or whatever. Whereas when it's your livelihood and, you're doing that full time, that's the priority. So it's, I'd imagine that would have been quite challenging at the start. But yeah, obviously understanding that now, you'd probably be like,
Yes.
it all makes sense. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, you would have moved out there around that drought period and, taking care of cattle and in those harsh, I guess, conditions. So how did that reshape your view on responsibility with the land and, that it's probably not something that you really had to think about before moving on there until you're actually living and breathing it. So how did you handle that?
Look, did I handle it? I don't know. I think it was definitely an adjustment and adjusting to a new normal of, okay, well, my day went from getting up with the kids, doing breakfast, all of that stuff, because they were quite young when we were here. Like I said, they were 4 months old and 3 years old. And, my role as a mum didn't change as much, but watching my husband, going out and feeding cattle every day, checking water, doing all these things, it was I just kind of looked at it like, oh, like, okay, cool. Like, you're feeding animals. Like, it didn't sink in until a long time after. And yeah, I think, I don't know, I just I suppose it definitely, it opened my eyes hugely to, oh, okay, wow, like there is so much more to farming than just having animals in a paddock, than just having crops in a paddock. Like there is just so much more to it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sacrifice that comes into that as well, and sort of the waiting game sometimes with weather, because you can't obviously control that. So there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of struggle that can come out of it. But obviously, you sharing your story on Instagram and showing the ups and downs is really bringing light the fun side, I guess, as well as the challenges of it all. So with that, I guess, fun experiment, you've got quite a huge following now.
Yes.
So did you expect it to grow the way it has?
No. I never anticipated that it would be what it is. But in saying that, I think I definitely had an idea when I first decided to post and to put myself out there, so to speak. I had a plan in my mind, and I remember telling myself, I was like, look, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, and I will put 110% in. And I thought, if I could get to 10,000 followers if I gave myself 5 years to get to 10,000 followers, I thought that would be a really great way to start, and also, to build that platform, because I knew what I wanted to do. I had it in my mind that I wanted to be a voice for agriculture. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that involved. I had no idea, but I just had this burning desire inside of me that I wanted to be a voice for agriculture. And looking at influencers on social media and seeing what people could do for small businesses, I really looked at that and thought, I want to do that for small businesses. I want to do that for people out in the country. I want to do that for agriculture. And like I said, I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that involved, but I thought that's kind of where I was going, I suppose, by posting. And I didn't have a plan as such. I just kind of, I did what I did, and I ended up, I think I got to like 10,000 followers in 5 or 6 months or something from posting. So I couldn't believe it, and no one was more shocked than my husband.
He probably doesn't. I'm guessing he probably doesn't like the limelight.
No, hates it. And is the complete opposite to me. And I remember when I said to him, I was like, oh, listen, I think I'm gonna do Instagram. And he was like, what's Instagram? And he had only just got Facebook, I think, like not that long before. And I was like, oh, it's just this thing. I was like, don't worry about it. Like I said, you're not going to be on there. Don't worry.
Yeah. And the next thing it's blown up. To what it is.
He was like, what? He was like, 10,000 people. He's like, are you joking? I was like, no, I'm not joking. He was like, oh my God.
We're just going to roll with this and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Like, I think and the reason for that, I think a lot of people resonate with the content that you do put out there, because I guess you balance that honesty with humor, and I think that's what really shines through at the end of the day. So, it's really great what you've done with the platform, and I guess you do broadcast your daily life, and it can be chaotic in the best way. So how do you juggle all of that? Farming, parenting, content creation, because I know myself with the podcast and a bit of content that we do with our platform, it's a lot of time. So, you're doing that, and then all the rest of it, it's how do you juggle it all?
When your crop is ready, your harvester should be too. The Fen Ideal delivers capacity, precision and efficiency when you need it. From the agile Ideal 7 to the powerhouse Ideal 10T, Experience advanced grain handling, outstanding fuel efficiency, and operator comfort that keeps you working long after sunset. Right now, upgrading has never been easier. With competitive finance rates, low deposit options, and flexible payment terms tailored to your farming operation. Talk to Seraphin AgPro today and make every harvest count.
I don't think I do. I don't juggle it, but I don't want to say balance. Like there's absolutely none of that. Because there are times where I am, 90% in doing content creation, and the other 10% is to family, because that is what is important at the time. And I think it's about understanding and knowing, what I've got on, and going, okay, what percentage can I give to each thing? What's a priority? Family's always going to be my priority. I'm a mum. My job is, I have children. They rely on me. They rely on my husband. And, that is important. So my time has to be spread out, but also I don't look at it and go, oh, well, I've got to balance it all. I don't. I literally decide what is important, what is priority, and what needs to be done. And that will get my time and energy as it needs to. And then, anything else, especially work, I think if it comes second to the farm and my family, it does. It just is what it is. And guess what? Is the world going to end? No, it's not. It's going to continue, and I will pick up where I need to when I can.
And at the end of the way, you find a way. And farmers farmers are quite resilient, and you find a way, even if it's not the most organised way, or whatever. You find a way, and if it works, it works for your priorities and what it means mostly to you. And that's
during harvest, for example. Our house doesn't get cleaned because in the past it's been my husband and I and my father-in-law, and we take turns in the truck. And it's all in, right? It's all in. My mother-in-law, she helps us with the kids. I'm cooking meals. I'm, doing all these other things. But at the end of the day, the house is messy. It just is what it is. It'll get done when harvest is finished.
Yeah, exactly right. So, you're on when you're on, and then, in that off period now, I guess, it's when you can really sort of reset and get yourself in order before it starts to ramp up again. So I guess that's the same with any sort of agricultural business as well. We have those peak periods where we're all in for service and, helping the customer, and then, the time off now where we can start to think and rebuild and do all the rest. So, no, that's good. And, with saying that, I guess you look at the struggles, I guess, with drought, which can factor into mental health as well. So I guess with your platform, you've probably used it as a way to vent and, show people that, they're not alone, I guess. So I guess to start with, how did that help you to be able to, put that out there to everyone? And, I guess the feedback that you get from people that have, are going through difficult times as well.
I think it's important to note that, I'm able to talk about it now because I'm through it. I'm able to talk about my experience, and also I can look at it from different angles. I can see parts where I look back and I laugh at myself because I think, oh my God, you're being so ridiculous in some instances. But, I think it's important that you give yourself a bit of grace as well. Like, there are going to be times where it is really tough. There are going to be times where farming sucks, right? And it does, especially when it's not raining, especially when, interest rates go up, or like it feels like all these things are against you. And I think, being able to talk about those things and being open about it has helped me, has really helped me actually, because the more I talk about it, the more comfortable I become, and the more I look at it and go, you know, that was a phase in my life that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that, you know, although it was really crap at the time, I'm grateful to now see how good it is here and how, like, the beauty in it. But, you know, reaching out to people through social media and connecting with other people, it's it's a really beautiful thing to be able to just have conversations about it and be like, yeah, like, hey, I get it, you know. I get that transitioning from living in the city to living in the country is really difficult. I completely get it.
Yeah, and I think you know, someone like yourself really resonates with the farming community in that sense as well, because it's you know, a lot of people are going through it, and you know, it might be that one person that sees that video you post, and they say, you know what, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's not as bad as what it is, and you know, it's not just me in this predicament. You know, there's other people out there. So I think social media really is a great platform. In some respects like that. Obviously, there are others that aren't the greatest, but definitely with this community, it is a really good platform to get that out there to people. And, you know, we've spoken to people like John Harper before, who has his own podcast as well, Mate Helping Mates. That's centered around mental health as well. And, you know, he talks about his challenges over the years and his experiences and open about it. So I think by having people like you, like him, and there's probably many more out there, it's normalizing mental health and the importance of, you know, looking after yourself at the end of the day. So
absolutely.
Have you had many people, I guess, reach out, or I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are resonating with your stuff. So have they come back to you and said, you know, I can relate to that, and they've seen, you know, your struggles and all the rest?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and through not just social media, but, you know, even in real life and you know, meeting people and talking and like, you know, I've had people say, thanks so much for talking about that, because I thought I was the only one that, you know, was annoyed at the fact that the shops shut at lunchtime because people go and have lunch. And like, that was one thing that I learned. I remember my husband sent me down into town and he was like, oh, can you parts? I timed it perfectly with the kids' sleeps to get in the car, everything. Got there and I was like, is this a sick joke? I was like, all of the shops are closed except for the IGA. Like, what is going on? And he was like, I forgot it's lunchtime. I was like, what do you mean it's lunchtime? And he said, nah, everyone goes home and has lunch. I was like, what? And coming from, you know, living in Darwin where the shops are open all the time, it's like, wow, that doesn't make any sense to me. And so, yeah, having conversations like that with other women and other men who had to kind of adjust to this new normal of, oh, hang on a second, that's just what happens out here. It's a really nice thing to relate to and kind of be like, me too.
And that's the thing. It's not necessarily, you know, if it's, you know, could be the main person that is farming the operation, but it also might be the caregiver, or if it's a mother, father, however they set up their operation. But a lot of the time it's not just the struggles with on the farm, it's out off the farm and, you know, preparing stuff, you know, finances and all the rest of it. So there's a lot of people that are struggling in all facets. It's not just the work on the farm, it's even the stuff surrounding that and family and trying to juggle all that. And so no, it's really good, and I'm sure females would really resonate that are, you know, on the farm as well, whether they're, you know, obviously on the farm working, or they could be off the farm and supporting their husband and partner. So
a lot of partners, you know, they do work off farm to help support the farm.
That's right.
Because that's, you know, that's part of it. It's and I'm sure there are some people that probably, you know, they don't want to do that, but they have to.
Especially when drought comes about, you know, it's good to have a backup if you can bring some other channels in that can help support the farming operation and keep it alive. That's always just as important too. So But yeah, no, look, and I think with your channel, it's definitely, or your platform, it's definitely brought that conversation in and brought light to that. But also building that following has given you, I guess, a bit of responsibility and a voice in the ag space. And it's really good to see that there are people out there that are advocating, and in particular when it comes to taxes and all the rest of it. You do find that with our current situation and what you hear overseas in the UK with inheritance tax, and I guess give us a bit of an understanding of how you got into, speaking about these issues and challenges on the farm.
Sure. So I guess that kind of stemmed from a friend of mine, Jack Nielsen. He actually created the Future of Agricultural Leadership, and asked me about if I would be interested in coming on board. But yeah, he kind of said to me, he's like, I don't really know exactly what it is and what it looks like. And me being me, I jumped at the opportunity and said, yes, let me be involved, because we are not being seen and heard out here. We have got, so many things, I suppose, happening to farmers, happening to our rural communities. And, that's something that I want to be a part of, and I want to help. I want to help bring more awareness to our city cousins about what's going on in rural Australia. And so, yeah, Foals it's a grassroots movement, and it's driven by farmers and rural voices, and basically because we're tired of being sidelined. We are tired of being on the back burner, and just kind of feeling as though we're just being pushed aside, and we're just having things happen to us without being involved in that conversation. And yeah, it's definitely not just about agriculture. It is for, our rural and regional communities, because our towns, they're not just made up of farmers. They're made up of teachers, nurses, doctors, tradespeople, small business owners. We've got so many people in our communities who all of these causes, they affect all of us. It's not just about farmers. It's just so happens that, yes, I am a farmer, and so is Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
And we genuinely, we want, we want that seat at the table, and we want to help rural Australia be seen and heard.
And I think, before pre-social media, it was hard to have a voice. Now, we've got a lot of people on there that are, coming to the table and, really advocating for it. And I feel like, with the inheritance tax over in the UK, it kind of makes us think over here, or, are we next, in a sense? And I think, with the veil of the unrealised capital gains, in terms of super and assets, a lot of people coin the term, that it's the rich person's tax. But at the end of the day, farmers have all these assets that they need to be able to farm. It's not a luxury to have. It's not like they have a Ferrari in the barn out the back that they've got as an asset. It's, tractors. It's, it's things that are going to keep their business running, and it's not a luxury. It's something that's a necessity. And I feel that, the government introducing these things, there hasn't been really much consultation with the ag community. And like you said, it definitely does affect rural communities, because if the farmers aren't able to farm and provide that food for us to keep going, then, that affects every other business that are an accountant or a lawyer or whatever it is. So it's just a flow-on effect at the end of the day.
100%. And it's like you said, that flow-on effect. It's not just about like us as farmers or whatever. It's about everyone. It's about everyone out here and who it affects. And farmers aren't just the only ones that may have they're super set up like that. Hairdressers, restaurant owners, small business owners, like they have the same setup too. It's not just about farmers.
Yeah, no, that's right. So it's it is something that we need more and more people to sort of voice their opinions on it, and definitely, don't be afraid to get out there and, speak up, because I feel like a lot of people on social media probably feel like, oh, I don't want to be seen on there, or I don't want to, actually have an opinion on there. But like you said, you've sort of grown over the years and said, you know what, I want to actually be a voice out there. So it's really good to see, and great that you've
I'm the most unpolitical person ever. Like I have always said, I don't know a lot. 100% I don't know a lot. But what I do know is that there are a lot of people in rural Australia that are annoyed. I was going to say something else there. They are really, really annoyed. And I was like, you know what? If no one else is going to do it, then I am, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being treated the way that we are being treated out here. And after coming from living in the city, I can see a massive difference in how things are done.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So it's really great to see that you guys are doing that. And what's the with the Future of Ag leadership channel, I guess, or platform? Where do you sort of see that going? I guess, are you bringing more people on board, or, do you have anything that you can sort of share with us for the future of it?
Yes. So we do have big plans.
Yeah.
I can't say too much, but what I can say is that if you do care about the future of agriculture, if you do care about the future of rural Australia, then please jump onto our Instagram page. It is the Future of Agricultural Leadership, FOLS for short. Jump on, give us a follow, and you'll be able to see how that evolves. And it is happening quickly. So I encourage you to jump on now while it's in its infancy, and jump on and have a look at what we have, because it is going to be really great.
Yeah, no, and definitely get out there, follow it, even follow your own page. You got a few other things personally that you've got coming up as well. So obviously tune into her Instagram and see what Kaitie's got going, because she's obviously always got a lot, and it's good. It's good that we've got people out there like Kaitie that's advocating and being real about life on the land, as well as agriculture and community in rural areas. So that's fine. Well, look, really appreciate your time, and thanks for coming on. If there's any other sort of plugs or things that you'd like to sort of mention, I guess your Instagram handle, that sort of thing.
So my Instagram is just Kaitie, KAITIE _Nash, and it's the First Time Farmer. Go and have a follow. I do have other projects happening. I have a pajama brand called the Farmer Pajama, and hoping that will be coming out at the end of this year, which is really exciting because it's been a long time coming. But I also am running an event called the Country in Common, and that is for people who do move out to the country, who want to connect with others. We're holding an event on the 27th of September, and tickets go on sale on the, hang on a second, I'll tell you. I think it's the 6th of tickets go on sale from the 4th of August to the 6th of September. So if you're interested in coming along to that, that would be unreal. But also I'd love to say that, I'd love to encourage other people who are working, living in rural Australia, in agriculture. Just share what you've got going on, tell your story, because it's so important that, we create the narrative. We are the ones in control of what that narrative looks like. And, a lot of people, I think, in the city get sold a completely different story about farming, about what country life is like. So by us speaking up and telling our stories, more people are going to see that, and more people are going to understand, how good this life is, how beautiful it is, and how much we care about our food, fibers, and our animals.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, the more people that are out there, the better, that are talking about it and
Yes.
really painting the picture that we want to paint, because I think a lot of the time, news channels and all the rest of it paint it in one way, and really it's not how it is. So, it's really good to see that you're out there doing that and advocating for it all. So, look, really appreciate your time, and thanks again. Everyone go follow and obviously follow our podcast as well and give it a listen, because we're bringing out more episodes as we go. So really appreciate everyone that's followed, and thanks again, Kaitie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers. We'll see you.
Bye.
Ready to take your farming to the next level? The versatile 570 HHT is in stock now at Seraphim Ag Pro. With massive horsepower, advanced precision tech, and a deluxe cab for all-day comfort, this machine is built to perform in even the toughest conditions. Whether you're working broad acre or heavy tillage, the 570 HHT delivers the power and reliability you need. Don't wait. Contact Seraphim Ag Pro sales team today on 02 69 64 4777.